Hello, my loves. I am back to read more of The Borrowers. We ended last time on we finished chapter 10, and Ariadne, at the end of what happened at the end was that Ariadne's dad called her, Pod called her, and said that they have to go back home. All right, chapter 11. Homily was there at the last gate to meet them. She had tidied her hair and smelled like coal tar soap. She looked younger and somehow excited. Well, she kept saying, well, taking the bag from Ariadne and helping Pod to fasten the gate. Well, was it nice? Were you a good girl? Was the cherry tree out? Did the clock strike? She seemed in the dim light to be trying to read the expression on Ariadne's face. Come along now, tea's all ready. Give me your hand. Tea was indeed ready, laid on the round table in the sitting room with a bright fire burning in the cogwheel. How familiar the room seemed, and homely, but suddenly somehow strange. The firelight flickering on the wallpaper, the line which read, "It would be so charming if what? Ariadne always wondered. If our house was less dark, she thought, that would be charming. She looked at the homemade dips set in upturned drawing pins which Homily had placed as candle holders among the tea things. The old teapot, a hollow oak apple, with its quill spout and wired-on handle, burnished it was now and hard with age. There were 2 roast sliced chestnuts, which they would eat like toast with butter, and a cold-boiled chestnut, which Pod would cut like bread. There was a plate of hot dried currants, well plumped before the fire. There were cinnamon breadcrumbs, crispy, golden, and lightly dredged with sugar. And in front of each place, oh, delight of delights, a single potted shrimp. Homily had put out the silver plates, the Florian one for herself and Ariadne, and the half-crown one for Pod. Chestnuts, by the way, have you guys ever had them? I did not like them at all, but I guess I didn't have them with butter, so maybe next time. I'm not going to try them again. Come along, Ariadne, if you've washed your hands, exclaimed Homily, taking up the teapot. Don't dream. Ariadne drew up a cotton spool and sat down slowly. She watched her mother pulling out the spout of the teapot. This was always an interesting moment, the thicker end of the quill being inside the teapot. A slight pull just before pouring would draw it tightly into the hole, thus prevent a leak. If, as sometimes happened, a trace of dampness appeared about the join, it only meant a rather harder pull and a sudden gentle twist. Well, said Homily, gingerly pouring, tell us what you saw. She didn't see much, said Pod, cutting himself a slice of boiled chestnut to eat with his shrimp. Didn't she see the overmantel? No, said Pod, we never went into the morning room. What about my blotting paper? I never got it, said Pod. Now that's a nice thing, began Homily. Maybe, said Pod, munching steadily, but I had me feeling I had it bad. Before we go on, there's the photo. You can see them all eating. What's that? asked Ariadne, his feeling. Up the back of his head and in his fingers, said Homily. It's the feeling your father gets when, she dropped her voice, there's someone about. Oh, said Ariadne and seemed to shrink. That's why I brought her along home, said Pod. And was there anyone? Asked Homily anxiously. Pod took a mouthful of shrimp. Must have been, he said, but I didn't see nothing. Homily leaned across the table. Did you have any feeling, Ariadne? Ariadne started. Oh, she said, do we all have it? Well, not in the same place, said Homily. Mine starts at the back of me ankles, and then me knees go. My mother, hers used to start just under her chin and run right round her neck. And tied in a bow at the back, said Pod, munching. No, Pod, protested Homily. It's a fact. No need to be sarcastic. All the bell pulls were like that, like a collar, she said it was. Pity it didn't choke her, said Pod. Now, Pod, to be fair, she had her points. Points, said Pod. She was all points. Arrietty moistened her lips. She glanced nervously from Pod to Homley. I didn't feel anything, she said. Well, said Homley, perhaps it was a false alarm. Oh, no, began Arrietty. It wasn't. And as Homley glanced at her sharply, she faltered. I mean, if Papa felt something, perhaps, she went on, I don't have it. Well, said Homley, you're young. It'll come all in good time. You go and stand in our kitchen just under the chute when Mrs. Driver's raking over the stove upstairs. Stand right up on a stool or something, so's you're fairly close to the ceiling. It'll come with practice. After tea and Pod had gone to his workbench and Homley was washing up, Arrietty rushed to her diary. I'll just open it, she thought, trembling with haste. Anywhere. It fell open on the 9th and 10th of July. Talk of the camps, but stay at home. Old Cameronian colors in Glasgow Cathedral, 1885. That's what it said for the 9th. And on the 10th, the page was headed, Make hay while the sun shines. Snowdon Peak sold for £1,889. Arrietty tore out the last page. Turning it over, she read on the reverse side. July 11th, make not a toil of your pleasure. Niagara passed by C.D. Graham in a cask, 1886. No, she thought, I'll choose the 10th. Make hay while the sun shines. And crossing out her last entry, Mother out of sorts, she wrote below it, Dear Uncle Hendreary, I hope you are quite well, and the cousins are well, and Aunt Loopy. We are very well. I am learning to borrow. Your loving niece, Arrietty Clock. Write a letter on the back, please. Arrietty, what are you doing? Called Homley from the kitchen. Writing in my diary. Oh, said Homley shortly. Anything you want? Asked Arrietty. It'll do later, said Homley. Arrietty folded the letter and placed it carefully between the pages of Bryce's Tom Thumb Gazetteer of the World, and in the diary she wrote, Went borrowing, wrote to H, talked to B. After that, Arrietty sat for a long time staring into the fire, and thinking and thinking and thinking. There we go. There she is writing a letter. It's kind of weird to think about what would you write your uncle who you don't really know that much about on your first letter. I think that's kind of an interesting thing to think about. That was a nice short chapter, but I wonder what's going to happen next. Okay, I'll see you for chapter 12. I love you so much.